Hey everybody, Hugh here. Welcome back. Well, in this one we're going to talk about potatoes sprouting and what to do with some of those sprouting potatoes in February and what can happen with them. These ones, well, these ones were from the house here. What we did is we had to the side of the house, you have what we call a little potager area. It's a little area sectioned off, mostly shaded by laurels and that. But anyway, we cleared a bit of it out a wee while ago, and that's where the compost videos come from and the compost making comes from. So in those compost bins, the bigger compost bins that we were looking at a couple of weeks back, some of these potatoes had been there from previous year or years. And like that, when you put your potato peelings in, some of them will sprout and some of them will resprout, or they might end up there by accident. And so I didn't harvest them last year. I left them and I said, this year, when I'm redoing the big potato, or the big compost bins, I'll take a look and see what's down there. Now there was these guys and more smaller ones, but these are the bigger ones. So they went into a paper bag there last September, October time. We said, sure, we'll use them over Christmas or in the new year, and they were subsequently forgotten about, as happens. Went to look at them a couple of weeks back. Well, found them by accident a couple of weeks back, and I was like, oh, look at this. So interestingly, I know what this one is, this big red one. That variety is called Setanta, and I'd know it a mile off because I was a big fan of Setanta a couple of years ago, and that's typical of them. They're great. They're blight resistant, so they're great for growing, and they're very popular by the commercial producers because they produce potatoes like that, which are great for chipping or for making chips. These other ones I'm not so sure of. These two look a wee bit different, don't they? That one could be a Setanta. Not quite sure. These ones behind, not a clue. I'm sure if I look through my old videos or social medias I might have some sort of idea, but really not a clue. But they are the ones that we are going to put in to pots. These ones here I'm going to consider as my chitting potatoes. So they are sprouting, so I'll slow those down a little bit by getting them out of the bags and sitting them in a carton of some sort, like an egg carton that you see other people doing on YouTube, and sit them there for a few more weeks before we put them in. Whereas these ones, look at the size of the sprouts on these. Now, a gardener that I'm a great fan of out in North County of Dublin, although she's from Wales, is someone called Nikki Kyle. And Nikki does a great gardening blog. She does some radio show parts as well and other media, but her blog is absolutely fabulous. An organic peat-free gardener. If you're well worth tracking her down, I was going to say, but checking her out on Nikki Kyle. I think it's nikkikyle.com or nikkikylgardens.com. Really, really, really good blog. Really good blog. Highly recommend it. Anyway, Nikki would talk about buying the early potatoes and sprouting them in January in paper bags indoors, and then protecting. Then when you get them at a pace like this, she'll then put them into pots and have them in her polytunnel there. Typically her aim is to have potatoes by Easter, and I've tried them a couple of times, mixed success. Sometimes I've had them never as early as Easter, but a couple of years ago, or was it last year? Can't remember. Anyway, I had a fine wee potato haul in May, early May, and it was fantastic. It was just as we were putting down the late potatoes, these ones were coming in. Since then, of course, we've gotten this grow tunnel, so I'm hopeful that this actually might be a better engine to try them in, although because they'll be in pots, any of those colder nights where the temperature goes down below 10 degrees, they'll become indoors. Yes, they will be in bed between our pillows, snuggled nice and safely. Or maybe not, but you know what I mean. Don't let the soil temperatures and that with potatoes go down much below 10 degrees because it will stunt their growth. But anyway, the idea with these as you're gathering is to do the earliest of the early potatoes. So these 4 volunteers are going to become the ones to use. I have some of that compost that you've seen in the compost bins in the earlier videos there from January. So I'll use not the tomato based one, because that wouldn't be so good for these. They're of the same family, and I say it's fairly drained of nutrients. I'll use the one from the compost bins and other sources, so that'll be nice and rich. Not looking for a huge amount of nitrogen or those fertilizers to be added, because I want this to be a nice slow steady growth. Don't want them sprouting all over the place, and then don't know what to do with them. They're too big then before they're producing their tubers. Okay, in the comments below you can tell me, how long do potatoes take from planting them to producing their tubers? There you go. In your experience, I should say, how long does it take them? Here it can take anywhere between, no, I won't actually say, see if people actually add in any comments of their experience. If not, we'll see with these. Couple of other bits just to finish. You can see that was the bargain Senecio, Silverleaf Senecio, €2 the week between Christmas and New Year's. It was like, oh my goodness, that had me at hello. That was coming. You can see I still haven't put these beautiful Bellis flowers into the into the copper bowl, but that will happen. That was a vine weevilled Pulmonium that we rescued and is now sprouting away. And there's various other niceties there. Some brought on a bit early for their flowering. Those are hyacinths, as in hyacinths. A fabulous smell in here, absolutely wonderful. And they are Alstroemeria, trying to sprout but being eaten by something. Now I have in the next video, I'm just going to do it now, about the tulips being attacked by rodents of some sort. I'm not sure will they go for the green growth of the Alstroemeria. We'll wait and see. But anyway, other delights coming along there. We'll wait and see what happens. They were vine weevilled heuchera, one of the pride and joys of the staging area in the courtyard, as you'll know. So we'll see what happens then. And the first Daffodil of the Year award. Daffodil! First Daffodil of the Year award goes to this little one. Again, these are typically scented little whites, but because of these guys being so powerful with scent, it's hard to get the scent of them here. Anyway, listen, I'm going to crack on with these potatoes. There's not much point in showing them. They're going to go into like bucket-sized pots. Of course, I'll produce that much. There'll be about that much soil in the bottom, and then about that much soil over them. So those tops of those shoots will be barely exposed, and then we'll just be mounding up the soil over the coming seasons. Anyway, slightly longer than I expected this to be, but it's all about the potatoes. Listen, look after yourselves and take care there. Stay safe as always, and catch you on the next one. And of course, do like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And any comments, thumbs up and all of that type of thing helps the channel just get viewership. Let's get potato growing. All the best for now. Bye bye.